I'm just acting Chicallywood.
So with every positive, sometimes there could be a negative. And a lot of people don't like to talk about this. But either way, let me ask you this. How do you deal with the rejection? Because, sometimes you go on those auditions and you don't get those callbacks. How do you take it?
Yeah. Initially, I took it hard because you judge your self-worth by it. Like, I guess I'm just not good enough. In the beginning, you really start to, at least for me, I would put myself down. Like, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? And as time went on, I've rejected over and over and over, because that's really the part of this job is getting that thick skin, right? And so knowing that rejection is not personal. Most of the time, it's not personal. Most of the time, it's because you were too tall. You were too short. They were looking for a man for this role, even though they said all genders. They really actually were looking for a man. And so I had to really realize that there are so many factors that go into someone choosing a role. I would give myself those 5-10 minutes to really be like, dang, and just really think about it and just sulk in it, and then that's it. It's done. That's the past. Let's watch it when it comes out. See what they chose. Why did they choose it? And then we'll learn from it and go on to the next thing.
Right.
So that's really all that I can do and that I could do. But it just took me time to realize sometimes rejection is protection, right? Sometimes being rejected for a role is protecting you. And I've seen some roles where I was like, well, thank God I didn't get that.
Right.
But it's just part of the job. You do the job. Take your deep breath, exhale, it's done, on to the next.
So basically, when it's all said and done, keep a good attitude, a positive attitude, and a positive outlook.
Yeah.
I mean...
it's hard, though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You have to.
But see, here at Chicallywood, the thing I'm trying to instill in people is that
Chicallywood.
If you cannot get the role, or you looking at it from a perspective of like, man, what is happening? Then that means you just got to kind of create that for yourself. Because you have the tools, the resources. We have that here. Now I'm just shining a light on the people that can possibly help with that or expedite the process. So one thing you mentioned, I thought was pretty interesting. You said you got your headshot. You upgraded your headshot game
many times.
So how does that differ? Is it harder for women, when it comes down to getting headshots? Because I know some guys, they just, for guys, put on this little, tank top, whatever.
Little leather coat and do the
me
mug.
Yeah, how different from what you've seen for women when it comes to headshots?
That's interesting you say that. I think it's harder for women because...
Really?
Women can rock different styles.
Yeah.
My very, very, very first headshot was platinum blonde. I don't know if you remember me back then, but I was super blonde.
Okay.
Super blonde. And the headshot was in front of these blinds, and the light was coming in kind of weird. And when I look at it now, I was so washed out. It was like a shirt. It was a headshot of a shirt. But I had a headshot, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's harder for women because I think for both, you have to really know color theory. There's a thing about color, which I just learned from Nancy Vela. She's amazing headshot
that's another name that's been popping up on this. Okay.
Nancy is amazing, but she helped me with color theory and how certain colors you think look good on you till that light captures you and you're like, ooh, I really thought yellow looked good on me. Till I saw it in the picture and I was like, I look completely washed out.
Okay.
So really learning color theory, learn what looks good with your skin tone, with your eye color.
Yeah.
But women, I think, long hair, short hair, different colors, how you want to rock your style, it can be it's harder than for a man who's facial hair or no facial hair. And those are the two options, right? Mostly men, it's are you willing to shave or not? So they usually have those two styles. I think for women, it's a little harder.
I can imagine.
I think so.
I can imagine because, you guys are pretty much, when it comes down to doing certain roles, you got makeup. I mean, for guys, I believe with makeup, it's maybe a powdering or something like that. But usually, for women, you guys have to kind of go through the whole palette, to kind of see if this works, if that works.
The whole palette.
If it works.
Wait. Let's go back.
Well, not the whole palette, but I've seen certain sets where it was they had a woman there and she had her whole kit and it was
no, you're right.
We got to make sure that, okay, now we got to test her with this lighting.
You're absolutely right.
I was wow, this is taking a long time.
Yeah, well, that brings me up to my second headshot. I had too much makeup.
Okay.
I was looking like I was about to work the corner. I was but when I saw the picture, I'm like, why didn't nobody tell me?
Yeah.
Third round, I'm like, okay, pull back on the makeup. Let's pull back on the hair color. So it's just the way my headshots evolved.
Yeah.
So it makes sense, the whole makeup thing. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Do you want to be perceived as the mom? So pull back on the makeup, maybe look more natural. T-shirt, tank, everybody does that plaid shirt look.
Yeah.
You want to look tough? What is a tough look? Everybody does the leather and the thing. You know, it's
right.
So the style is a part of it, but it's really what you're saying with your eyes, how you're feeling in your heart and your mind. That's what's going to come through on the camera.
I mean, it's kind of like, dress up,
when
it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So how do you deal with people critiquing your work? How do you deal with the criticism? How do you say, just how do you do that?
I accept it with open arms.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I love criticism. I want to know what you thought genuinely. Like, how did you perceive my role, my work on that screen, on that audition? Not everybody gives critique during auditions, which is fine, which is how, the world works, how this business works. But if I have a friend who sees my work, sees an independent film I'm in, sees something on the big screen, please tell me what you really thought of what I did. Yeah. How did I do? Because that's the only way you're going to grow. Yeah. It's the only way you're going to learn from what you've done in a previous film. And my goal is to do better the next time around. I am my only competition. Yeah. Chantelly today, I'm competition with her for tomorrow. That's it. Nice. So I would love criticism. I need it. I thrive on it because I grow on it. Yeah. So I accept it.
It's funny because I don't know if you follow this whole Drake and Kendrick situation.
I've heard a little bit.
Drake is pretty much suing Kendrick because he's suing the label because he felt that some work got put out that is putting his character on blast. I guess and then he got to basically suing some of the people that was critiquing the whole situation, or they were talking about the song. So he was suing some YouTubers and stuff like that.
Suing YouTubers for critiquing work that was put out.
Right, be right. They'll take Kendrick's song and basically listen to it and say, oh yeah, he cooked him. He cooked Drake. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I learned that word from my daughter.
Yeah.
He was cooked.
So he felt like, oh, well, because you guys are basically helping instigate this, I'm going to sue. So can you imagine a time and place where an actor might basically, a trailer comes out, a movie comes out, and then somebody in the comments is like, oh, that person was terrible. Can you imagine an actor suing somebody because they got like their feelings was hurt? Because I know this is a very sensitive business because your art is very unique and special.
It is.
So like, I guess my question is, how would you give advice to somebody that's like they're too serious to the point where it's like you can't give them any critique?
I think if someone's asking for critique and asking for that information, then it should honestly be given. Social media critique, I skip, I slide right through and scroll because I wasn't asking for it at that moment.
That's a whole nother critique right
social
there.
Media critique is like, ooh.
and I guess that's what I was getting at. Like, how do you deal with the social media critique? Because you got constructive criticism. And then, even in my career, I will make a song and people be like, it's all right, it's cool. Yeah. I don't really rock with it, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, okay, cool.
I put my heart and soul in that one.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I ain't gonna touch everybody's life, but I get it. But at the end of the day, like you said, you're not looking for it. So basically you're saying when it comes to that social media critique, hey, you got to kind of have blinders on, block that.
Yeah. And social media critique can come differently. I've had friends that or people I didn't really know, hit my DM and say, hey, I saw you on this thing. You want to, I had some things that I want to talk about. Like, I really liked it, what you did, I really liked how you did this, what you did with this. Yeah. And then if I'm like, cool, what else did you think? Like, I'm opening up that door of conversation. That's one way. And you go about it that way. But if you're under someone's comments like, she's trash, that's trash.
Right.
I'm like, damn. But you know what? That's good. Negative talk, like when it's like that, I just take it as this, you still boosting up the algorithm. So put all you want. That's okay. That's not really critiquing me if you're just saying that's trash. You're not giving me anything to work with.
Right.
One thing that I hear all the time, and I still hear it today, and it's something that I've been working on, is talk slower. Speak slower. And I'm like, I've been talking fast all my life because I've always felt rushed to say what I need to say. Do what you need to do fast. All my life. So that's my biggest critique I've gotten, and I accept it, and I'm learning from it right now. Do you see how I'm learning from it?
There we go. Yeah. And coming from somebody that raps really, really fast.
Yeah, you think I could be like Twista?
Maybe.
Oh.
Tag 9? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. There you go.
Telly Twista in the
Ooh,
house.
I like that.
Okay, open up the studio.
That's how we do it. Album coming soon.
Yep.
So let me ask you this, man. So you touched on it earlier. What is your ethnicity?
I am Puerto Rican.
Okay.
half Puerto Rican, and my mom, she's white, so she's a little mutt, but she grew up in Arkansas, so she has some Irish and some German in her, but Arkansas, Alabama, and then she moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
That's where she met my dad.
Okay.
So I know I'm pretty light skinned. My skin color is my mom. My eye color is my dad.
Yeah.
But culturally, I've been around my abuela and abuelo mostly. They lived above us. They were around us all the time. So yeah, it was always like my secret identity because people never really initially knew until they either heard me speak, till they saw me dance, or till they tasted my cooking. Then they're like, "Where are you from?"
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, well,
because that leads into my next question, as far as roles that you go for.
Yeah.
Is it certain roles that it seems like, for example, because you speak Spanish?
a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
If I have a script in Spanish, I can run that. But if someone's like, I need you to improv Spanish, I'm like,
Okay.
It's a little harder for me. But if
Yeah.
I had a script that was in Spanish, I got you.
So have you done roles that are basically predominantly like a Puerto Rican woman? Or is
No.
it like, so how have you been coming across certain roles?
Yeah, I'm usually I get the
I'm just acting Chicallywood.